Hello guys, welcome to the third video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw the sprites. And actually, I'll draw each one in this video so you guys can see the process. It's a very straightforward process. Game Maker Studio comes as a very great set of drawing tools, and I'm going to show you how to use those tools. So first things first, you need to have your project open. And I closed my room. I'm not going to be editing the room at all. This is all to do with my assets, the sprite assets. So we can start with something very simple, for example, the ball. So all I did was I double clicked my ball asset. And so what you can see here, this is your sprite dialog box. It has all the different things that you need in your, it has all the different settings for your sprite. So first thing is the name. Next we have the image size. So this is the first thing we need to change. Double click those, or just single click these four arrows. We need to set a new size for our ball for this game. So I think, let me just go to my cheat sheet here. So I found that 24 by 24 is a very good size for this. So set your ball's size image or size to be 24 by 24. Okay. So that's the first step. You don't have to worry about any of these or any of these. We're not using the collision mask. Collision masks are used for collision testing in 2D games when you're not using the built-in physics system. If you're using the built-in physics system, then we use a different set of, then we use physics fixtures to do collisions, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. We've got frames per second, so the ball is not animated. If you do want to have your ball kind of like blink or change colors, then you can play around with animations and frames per second speed. We've got the origin. So the origin is, where does Game Maker anchor this object from? What's the point where it rotates from or moves from, or all those things? Right now it's set to the top left. I do not like that. I kind of want the ball to be centered. So I'm going to click middle center. So now you can kind of see, it's hard to see, but this little cross moved to the middle of the image, which will be in this rectangle or square. So once you've got that, you can click on edit image. This brings up a image editing software. It's got quite a few tools, enough tools to almost do anything as an artist. It's got layers, so you can layer different papers on top of each other and draw things behind and forward and stuff. It's got pencil tool, eraser, paint bucket, color remove, so you can remove colors like backgrounds. It's got color replace, so if you don't like a color of something or one specific color in your drawing, you can replace it. It's got a line tool, rectangle tool, circle tool, polygon tool, arc tool, text, so you can also write some things on your images. It's got a color picker, that's for matching colors from the screen. It's got a selection tool, two different types of selection tools. It's got a magic wand, also a selection tool. And then it's got some other tools which I'll talk about if I need to use them. They're more to do with brushes, so you can change the way the brushes behave, especially custom brushes. So we're making the ball. As I said, this is going to be a very simple game, not the artist version type of game. So I've selected the bottom half of the ball. These tools all have two settings. They've got an outline version, or they've got a fill version. So I've selected the fill version. I do want to switch it up in the top here to both. So that means it's going to have an outline and it's going to have a fill as well. I'll just try size 1 for now. I'm going in the corner, dragging it all the way across the other corner, and bam. So I've got a ball. As I said, not an artist version. This is it. I'm done. I'm gonna, to save this, you can click the X in the top left corner here, and that'll save this, although you can also click save here to save. And if you do want to do animations, I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So if you only have one image, it's not going to animate. If you have another image, so I've clicked this big plus sign here, I've added the second image, I can switch to it. Maybe I can change some colors here. The way I selected two different colors was this is left click for my left color, right click for my right color. And then something like this. And now you've got two, that's not correct. I've got two different color balls. If I click play, this would cause this kind of animation. Don't recommend this for your game, but up to you. So it's your game. Okay, so I've got, and to delete an extra image, you can click the little X. There we go. So I've got my sprite ready. Got the crosshair in the middle, so it's anchored at the center, and the ball is good. Next, we move on to the block. So once again, I'm going to go to my cheat sheet here and just figure out what the right size is. I did 32 by 16, so let's click on here. Let's click resize canvas. We're going to go 32 pixels by 16 pixels. Apply. The bricks themselves don't have to be anchored in the middle. They don't move, they just sit in one spot, so anchoring in the top left. For anything that usually does not move in your game, anchoring the top left corner is ideal because it's easier to place in a grid system on your map. You don't have to worry about anything else. Let's just go to edit image. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before, except I'm going to use the rectangle tool, select both. Black and white is fine. I think I'm going to increase the size of the outline though to number 2. That's done at the top here. And I'm going to drag this across. There we go. So I've got my brick, and that's it. I'm done my brick. Next one is the paddle. So a good size for the paddle is, I did 96 by 32. So I'm going to go resize canvas, 96 by 32. Okay. And then the paddle should be anchored at the middle center. The reason for this is because the ball is going to be floating above the paddle. So if you're kind of anchored it at the far corner, then it's going to take the position of the paddle and put the ball above that. So the ball's going to be, so if my anchor was in top left corner, the ball would be hovering above the top left corner. So that's why we anchor at the middle. That's all the settings I need. So I'm going to go edit image. And I believe I'm going to do the same thing as with the bricks, which is select the rectangle tool, both, set the size to 2, and do this. Or is it? No, it's not. I talked about having slanted corners for this, so let's do it a little bit differently. We can use the polygon tool. So go into the polygon tool. I'm going to select once again both. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the corners, all the corners of the paddle, and watch what happens. So we can start down here. So click here, and you do have to click in the proper order. So like you can't click up here and then come back here. I need to click where the next point is. So let's go maybe here. It's kind of tricky. I'm going to try and just eyeball it here, and maybe here. No, that is off. I've got a trick I can show you actually. So if I hover over here, if you look at the bottom left of the screen, way down here, it shows you coordinates. So I can, when I'm hovering here, I can see that my vertical coordinate, which is the second number, is 13. That means when I'm on this other side, I will also want to be at 13. So that's good to know. And then over here, let's pick somewhere in the middle here. So I'm going to say 66, sure. Because at the very end here, we've got 95. Let's go 65. 65, so that means I'm 30 pixels in. So if this one is 1, then I need to get to 31 on this side. Oops. Let's go with 31. And then here we said we were at 13. There we go. So now we got a perfectly good balanced paddle. So paddle is done as well. It's centered. And the last one we need to make is the wall. So I'm going to go to my walls. I'm going to edit the size. I want my walls to be not very intrusive in the game. Like their role is very minimal. So I just set them to size 16. So they're very small. They can be anchored at the top left. That's fine. And for the art itself, the wall is an exception. I'm just going to fill it with white. The reason for this is because we'll be putting, I'll be stretching these. So when you place some of these objects into your rooms, you can stretch them. And if you draw a shape and you stretch it, it'll look funny. But if you keep it just a solid color, you can stretch it as much as you want. It'll look the same. All right, so that's all the sprites all done. And once again, this is the not an artist version. This is very quick, straightforward art that I've done. You guys are welcome to spend a lot of time on this. This is what people see. So when people play your games, they see your sprites. So spend as much time as you want on these sprites, make them look good, especially the bricks. Maybe you can come up with lots of cool, or blocks. You can come up with lots of different types of cool looking blocks, and paddles. Maybe even the ball, you can have several different types of balls, or maybe the walls as well. You can have different colors, even different shapes. Okay. So with that, I'll end this video, and in the next video we'll talk about how do we make and create sounds. Also, don't forget to save. See you guys in the next video.